Okay, hi guys. Today's lesson is going to be about writing ratios. Now, you've done this before, but we're going to just go over it and remind you and then maybe teach you a couple new things that you didn't know before. So we're looking at writing ratios. The first thing that's really important is that you read properly. And if they start talking about, they have a story and they're talking about birds, and they say 4 birds, and then they start talking about flowers. When they say to you, we want the ratio of flowers to birds, remember, say there were 6 flowers, remember that you've got to put 6 first, and ratio is, so it's 2 dots, not circles, they're just 2 dots. So you would put 6 is to 4. Okay. The next thing that you always have to remember is you have to bring it down to the lowest that it can go. You have to simplify it. So what goes into 6, that also goes into 4. My advice to you is have a look at 2s, okay? I always say, is it even? If it's even, it can be divided by 2. If you add all the numbers together, and they are divisible by, if it comes to a 3 or a 6, you can divide it by 3. So you add all the numbers together. So if you've got, try and think of one now. If you've got 152, 5 and 2 is 7, plus that is 8, so no. If you've got 60, say 603, 6 plus 3 is 9, and that's a multiple of 3, so 3 could definitely go into that. Okay, so if it's a multiple of 3, if you add them all together, the final number that you get is a multiple of 3. Then 3 can go into it. And obviously if it ends in a 5 or a 0, it can be divided by 5. So those are the ones that I use when I'm doing them. Okay, so first thing, write down the ratio as it's indicated by the sentence. So read the sentence, okay? Make sure you do it in the simplest form. Now, if they ask you that you have to do it, they may say to you, can you write the ratio of birds? Okay, so they could say write a ratio of birds, so it would be 4, to all the things in the garden. So it would be the flowers and the birds. So it would be 4 is to 10, which you'd bring down as 2 is to 5. Okay, because you're going to say how many times does 2 go into there, how many times does 2 go into there. So sometimes they could say, look at 1, and then the second one would be look at all of them. You're going to get asked, write a fraction. So if they say, write a fraction of flowers to birds, you're going to put 6 over 4. All right? There again, you've got to bring that down. So you say, how many times does 4 go into 6? It goes in once with the remainder of 2, and you can make that 1.5. So your answer would be 1.5. So they're going to ask you to put it into a fraction. Same thing, what they say first goes at the top, what they say second goes at the bottom. The next thing they're going to ask you is about percentages, all right? So if they say write the birds over all the organisms in the what is the percentage of birds to all the organisms in the garden, you would go 4, you put it as a fraction first, 4 and all the organisms in the garden are 10, and you've got to multiply that by 100%. So remember, we're allowed to use our calculators, so we would go 4 times 100, and our calculator equals will be 400, divided by your new denominator, which would be divided by 10, so the answer would be 40%. All right, and then you could work that out on your calculator. So if they say to you birds over all the organisms, please write that as a percentage. Do it as a fraction first, and then multiply it by 100. Okay, which you do know how to do, I hope. I think that is that. Right, so go ahead and do 4.1 for me, please.